Welcome to our webinar today, and thank you for taking a few minutes to take a look at a brand new suite of ready-to-run analytics tools built specifically for use with your IDEA software by Automation Services. The new sets of analytics are called IDEA Audit Solutions, and today we'll focus on the General Ledger module of tests. My name is Scott Smith. I'm the sales engineer here at Automation Services, and it's my job to help you get the absolute best and most efficient use out of your IDEA data analysis software. Automation's Vice President of Industry Relations, Don Sparks, is here also to answer any audit-related questions you may have after the presentation concludes. At Automation Services, we firmly believe that embracing audit testing standards and data analysis skills are core competencies that will improve your process and your understanding of the risk in your organizations. The best and most efficient way to accomplish this is to embrace and leverage the latest technology available. Many people ask, why audit the general ledger? Financial belongs to management, right? Don's been doing this for 30 plus years, and he says today audit stakeholders expect a lot from auditors, and a good place to start is by interrogating the general ledger. By starting here and running all of these GL tests on every engagement, you may be able to reduce the risk of misstatement and ultimately reduce the amount of testing required to follow on. IDEA Audit Solutions are canned or pre-written tests. They're very easy to use. They provide standardized and consistent results every time you run them. There are currently a handful of functional specific packages available, with more being created and produced on a regular basis. If you're interested in learning more, please log on to our website at www.automation.com or call your account manager directly. You can get all the information you need on the modules currently available, as well as those that are in the pipeline. So let's get going and take a look at a handful of the test scripts included in the Audit Solutions General Ledger module. I'm going to switch over to IDEA now, and we'll run some tests. The Audit Solution tests were created to take the load off of internal audit or data analysts. They're small scripts that, when done one after another, provide very powerful results. And the nice thing about it is they provide the same result every time you run them. It's the same format. So it's easy to start getting your head wrapped around it and start getting very comfortable with the results. Another benefit is a lot of these scripts will automatically export the result set to an Excel spreadsheet inside of your current working project, so you can email that result to someone in management. I've chosen a handful of tests, and I've placed those tests on their own individual menu on the ribbon. If I look at the Audit Solutions tab, I've created a General Ledger group within the tab and placed 4 of the handful of tests that are available in the module. I'm going to show you what it would take to run these tests manually and then run them by just clicking the button and having the script do all the work behind the scenes for you. First one I'm going to tackle is high value rounded sum vouchers. This test extracts values out over a dollar value threshold that's meaningful to you and then looks for rounded sums. And use a modulus operator in order to create that result. I've already imported a set of general ledger data that has standard columns and standard information. Should look very familiar to the type of data that you work with on a regular basis. The first test we're going to run today is line items with a high value and a rounded amount. To do this test manually, I'm going to go over to the Analysis menu and then click the Direct Extraction. I'm going to name this Rounded High Values and click the little calculator button to open up the equation editor. The equation editor acts on the columns that were contained in the file when you opened up the equation editor. This file contains a column called amount. That amount is the summation of the debit minus the credit. So what I'm looking for is high dollar value amounts. Amount greater than 100,000. Click the green check mark and OK. And move to the right. All of my amounts are greater than 100,000, and now we want to narrow this down to only rounded values. The way that we're going to do that is a second direct extraction. Click on Direct again, and now let's call this rounded values. Click the calculator button to open up the equation editor one more time. We're going to use the modulus operator. A modulus returns the remainder when one item is divided by another. So literally what we want to do is the amount modulus, and we'll choose 1,000. We want those equal to 0. So the remainder, when I divide one number by the other, has to be 0. Click OK, and OK one more time. And you can see when I scroll to the right over here, all of these are rounded amounts now. This is a simple test to run, but a very needed test. It's a red flag indicator potentially to study the nature or maybe the authenticity of some of the outlier values. May not be common to see rounded amounts, especially not high dollar rounded amounts. So let's go ahead and run this test now using the Audit Solutions script. The way that I'm going to do that is click the Audit Solutions tab, go over here to my new category that I've created on this menu item, and select the test. You're going to see this common theme throughout all of the Audit Solution tests. You click the test, predefined, canned, pre-written test. It's going to ask you, what file do you want to operate on? Select the General Ledger file from your Explorer menu. General Ledger Detail. And now you're going to answer a few questions in individual dialog boxes. The high value cutoff, we chose $100,000. Click OK. Enter the round sum amount divisor. We used 1,000 last time. We'll do the same. And click OK. The last thing it asks you is to choose the field that you want to run the operation on. We chose the amount column. Click OK. And let's scroll down here a little bit. Get to the amount. And just like in our manual version, we have 5 result records, all high dollar value with rounded amounts. Much simpler to run. All right, let's close out some of these files, clean up our palette just a little. The second test that we're going to attempt today is vouchers with blank descriptions. Red flag testing for authenticity of vouchers. There shouldn't be any reason why a voucher or a general ledger item should have no description. Let's do a test and pull out all of the voucher or general ledger descriptions that are blank. There's a couple of ways we can do this, but in order to create a file, we're going to again go to the Analysis tab and click Direct Extraction. We're operating on our general ledger. I'm going to call this vouchers or items with blank descriptions. Click on the calculator button. Voucher description equals an empty set. When you're doing idea or any character-based equation, you have to wrap the text in quotation marks. IDEA needs to know that the formula is including text, and the way to do that is to put double quotes around it. A double quote open and a double quote close is an empty character. So we're looking for voucher descriptions with no data. Can evaluate it. 0 means no. If I was to step through the data and get a 1 as an evaluation, that's a yes. So in this instance, a 0 means you will get no result. A 1 means you will get a result. Only the items that have no result will be pulled out into my new data set. Click OK. OK one more time. And the voucher description is blank. Down in the lower right-hand corner, I've got 142 occurrences of blank vouchers. All right, so there's a very simple way to do it. Let's go ahead and use the Audit Solutions test to do the same test. Click on the tab, choose Vouchers with blank descriptions. Same dialog, choose the data set you want to work on. Select the voucher or account description field. Voucher description, and click OK. Again, 142 records. Very simple test. This gives you the same output every time you run it. Like I said, standardizing these tests, standardizing the way that they're performed, the way that they're output, is a very powerful tool. You can hand this off to someone who's a junior part of the team and let them get their feet wet, kind of cut their teeth, so to speak. All right, I'm going to close out these files one more time, and we're going to move on to the third test. Audit Solutions tab says Missing Vouchers. Missing vouchers is basically a gap detection test. It's a break in a sequential numbering of the vouchers. It could be an indicator or a lack of an accounting serial control. You don't have sequential vouchers, you don't have sequential numbers in the system. Very simple way to do it is go to the Analysis tab, choose the gap detection icon. If you've just imported your data, IDEA is going to go through and do a little bit of statistical analysis on it on the way in. When the dialog opens up, the first question is, which field would you like to use to determine the gaps? We're going to scroll down here and use the voucher number. We're going to do a numeric test, starting at the first value in the record set, going to the last value in the record set, an increment of 1. I'm not going to create a result, but I am going to create a database. Gap detection by voucher number. And click OK. What you can see is IDEA goes through and says from here to here, there's one item missing. From this voucher to this voucher, there's one item missing. And you can scroll down through your record set and it'll give you all of the gaps and sequences. Very simple test. Let's go ahead and accomplish this using the Audit Solutions script. Click on Audit Solutions tab. Click on Missing Vouchers. Select the data set that you want to work on. Answer the simple question in a single dialog. And click OK. Same result, much simpler implementation. You have a voucher number from and to, and how many items are missing in between those two vouchers. I'm going to close out these tests, clean up the palette just a tad, go back to the Audit Solutions menu. Get our final test today. These are descriptions with single vouchers. Basically, we are identifying general ledger descriptions where the count of the number of vouchers for a single review period is 1. There was only one item with that description in the whole period. Could be an indicator of one-time GL account creation for accounting, maybe exploratory test for fictitious bookkeeping adjustments. There are all kinds of things that this test would indicate. So let's go ahead and do that. This is a multi-step test that we're going to have to walk through. You'll see why it's much easier to accomplish this test using the Audit Solutions script. First thing we're going to do, go to the Analysis tab. We've got our GL data set open. And I'm going to summarize this data set on 3 values. On the Categorize category, click Summarization. You can select up to 8 columns. We only need 3. So what I'm going to do is the General Ledger account number, General Ledger account description, and the voucher number. I want to include all the fields. And I want to summarize up the amount. Give your file a name. I like good long names. That way when you're over here looking in the File Explorer, you don't have to wonder what you did. So I'm going to summarize by these 3 items. Click OK. IDEA gives you the data you're interested in as well as a count by the 3 items that you chose to summarize on. The next thing we have to do is summarize this second data set. And we're going to choose 2 different data elements to re-summarize the data. Click Summarization. And now we're going to summarize by the account number and the description. Account number and description. Summarize by account number and description. amount sum, the number of records. Click OK. And you can see the number of records that are contained in these two specific items are indicated. What we're interested in is the ones that have a single item within the period. So there's a few ways that I can do that. If I wanted to get a view, I could just right click and have IDEA provide a view. But ultimately we want a record set, a database. So I'm going to do a direct extraction. And these are single voucher items. Click on the calculator button to open up the equation editor. And now we're going to do the number of records is equal to 1. This is the summarized number, equal to 1 only. Click OK. OK one more time. And you can see 8 records. Each one of these account numbers and description had a single item within the period. So there's a multi-step process. I had to summarize 2 times and know which fields to summarize on in order to ultimately get to the point where I could extract out the data that was of interest to me. So let's go ahead and try that using the Audit Solutions script. Click the tab, choose General Ledger Descriptions with a single voucher. Choose the data set that you want to work on. Open it and just answer the questions. Select the voucher number field. Select the general account number field. Select the general ledger account description. Now you remember, those are the 3 fields that I used last time, and I used them in 2 different summarizations. I had to do the direct extraction twice. I chose my values, click OK. IDEA does the intermediate steps for me using the Audit Solutions script and comes up with the 8 records that we got in our manual summarization. Again, the whole idea behind these tests is to get consistent results, the same format, the same output every time. Last thing I'm going to do is jump over here to my library. And if I look in the Exports folder, you'll see all of the Audit Solutions tests that we ran. The final step in each one of those scripts was to export that result to an Excel spreadsheet and put it into your working folder. These are just Excel spreadsheets that can be put in working papers or emailed to management at this time. So one more time, I'd like to thank everybody for taking a few minutes to sit through and get a very high-level overview of these new canned pre-written tests, ready to run analytics that we're calling IDEA Audit Solutions. If you have any questions or want to find out a little bit more information, there's a couple ways to do it. If you go to our website, over on the far right side, there's a little blue box that says Quick Links. And if you look in there, it says IDEA Audit Solutions. Click on that link and it'll bring you to a list of all of the packages that we currently have available. Click on each one of them. There's a Learn More link right beside each package. It'll show you all of the tests and give you a little bit of overview of the tests inside the package. Or you can go straight to the tests by going to the link that's listed on the page right here, the automation.com/IDEA Audit Solutions HTML. Type that into your browser, hit the Go button, and it'll jump you right to the page that you need to go to. If you have any other questions, if you need help downloading, extracting, putting the scripts into the proper place, don't hesitate to give our help desk a call at 888-641-2800 and choose option 4. One of our main purposes here at Automation Services is to make sure that you have a very good experience using your IDEA software. The 20-minute rule means don't waste 20 minutes. Thanks, and make it a great day.